Thanks for pressing play. You are watching a brand new episode of ExcaliburCCGTV. He's Randy, I'm Chris, and we are Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And don't forget about our store in Texarkana, Texas. You can always find out what's going on with us at ExcaliburCCG.com. Be sure and subscribe to our channel and like us on Facebook and Twitter. All that stuff in the description below.
Or listen to our MP3.
Thank you, sir. We do have an MP3 down below, so if you're too busy to watch the video, you can download it and listen to us on the go. And before we dive into what's going on for October 1st, comic-wise, let's talk a little bit about our Banned Books library event.
Yes, it was a pretty good turnout to our event here. Lots of nerves until we got things going. and let me just say, this was one of those things I was pleased to hear people enjoyed this, because for me, I felt like it was kind of a heavy subject, and there was not a lot of way to really make it fun when we're talking about some of the matter there.
Right.
But it was something where I think people had fun, and people really wanted to talk. We had a good time with, we asked the people to encourage question and answer section. I was surprised that most of the questions ended up being about the comics in the film industry, kind of thing. That was a little weird to me, but I mean, it was still fun trying to answer those questions, because for the most part, we know about as much as they know. But maybe we've heard something a little more. I was informed by one of our people that when they saw the questions going a certain way, they had a very lighthearted question they wanted to ask me, but felt it probably was not appropriate. Because they were prepared. I said I was prepared for anything, and they were prepared to give me anything. They were going to ask me what I thought of Dick Grayson's butt, which I've never paid attention to. And apparently, if you Google Dick Grayson's butt or ass or whatever you want to use for it, there are Tumblr pages dedicated to this. There are forum discussions about this all over the place. So I guess I would have said that it's some grade A booty, but I would assume, but I don't know. So we were going to get something that would throw us off, but
that would have totally thrown me off.
We were saying, I did not know that there was this phenomenon going on out there. Did you guys know this?
Yeah, did you know? Because I had this is the first time hearing.
I went home that night, and I was like, let me look and see, and holy cow, there it is, all over the place. All over the place.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
From Robin to Nightwing to Dick Grayson, Agent of Spiral.
There we go. There we go. As long as there's a progression. The most important thing. But yeah, we had a great time doing that. I thought it was a great turnout.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we had no idea. You know, people can, like an event on Facebook all they want, but until you see faces in the seats, it doesn't mean anything.
We had people lined up going, I'm waiting outside for this.
It was great. And we gave out some really cool, I thought were some really cool giveaways.
Yeah.
People seemed genuinely surprised and happy to get it and to get those things. And I hope that everyone that received a giveaway, I hope you enjoy it.
Also, just one other thing with that. Yeah. The best I think we could take away from that was them asking us, are we planning on doing it again? So that was something that if the stars align, maybe we can do something like that. But we didn't expect it. Right.
So thanks to everyone that came. And we did video it, of course. It is a part of our regular Talking Comics show. So we did video that night. It's videoing us, but you can hear the crowd and everything there. And we're going to have it online as soon as possible. It was long. So we may break it up into chunks. That was a great idea. Yeah. That may be a possibility. But it was long. Even if I cut out and edit, it's still going to be long. So we'll see. But it is going to get online, and we will share that with you. So thanks again. Thanks for making that a success. And we really had a great time. Are you ready to dive into some storylines?
Yeah, because we have tons going on this week.
All right, let's start off. Finally, we get Action Comics number 35.
Yes.
The Superman Doomed Aftermath issue. I guess this is finally the end of Doomed. So we will see with this issue, but we can take a look at what's left of the Man of Steel and what's become of Smallville with this issue. If you have been reading the Doom storyline, don't forget this issue. It's a critical ending to what happened with Superman.
Possibly, if you were not a fan of all the destruction in the Man of Steel movie,
Destruction porn.
There may be some destruction of Smallville.
Oh man,
in this. So.
Exactly.
So be warned. Also coming out from DC Comics this week is the beginning of the new Green Lantern storyline that's going to introduce the new gods into the DC universe. We've had some of them within the Earth 2 universe so far, and we've had Darkseid, however you want to say his name, because people say him both ways, and the pretty much got everything kicked off, started with the New 52 universe. But what we have here, the first part of the Godhead storyline, that's what it's called, is going to be in Green Lantern / New Gods Godhead #1. This is where we're going to see that the Highlander, he is the father of, High Father. He is the father of the New Gods. He has a particular interest in the Source Wall. And as any of us who read the Lights Out story know, that we know that the Lanterns broke the fourth wall. They were able to gain access to it. So now that has brought attention to them from the High Father. And with this, he has decided that now, in order to break through to see what is beyond this source wall, he needs a ring of each one of the spectrums. So that's what he's going to try to obtain. However, I don't think he has all of the information, so he's going to unleash some horrors that are going to affect everything within the DC universe here. Unbeknownst to him.
Right.
That also bleeds over into Green Lantern number 35, where we're going to see that the, once again, the New Gods have declared their intentions. They are now going to focus on attacking the different wielders of the color spectrum here. And first up is going to be Metron, and he is going to set his sights on the Corps Citadel. What this means for Hal Jordan and the Lanterns, I don't know. However, did you see the teaser online?
I did. The cover image?
No. The inside page.
No, maybe I didn't. I saw something that said it had Hal Jordan on his knees, bent over. Okay, I didn't see what you were talking about.
This has Hal Jordan floating in space. Floating unconsciously in space, and what looks to be maybe something next to him that should not be next to him. That should probably be attached to him. Yeah. Okay. So there could be something really, blood in the water there.
Okay.
We'll see.
Now I'm intrigued. Like, what the world?
Yeah, that was crazy.
All right, folks. Godhead. Don't miss out on that. Death of Wolverine number 3 hits this week. At the end of the last issue, you saw Kitty Pryde show up. And also found out some news about somebody else that's on the trail of Logan. And this issue, the story goes to Japan. Logan and Kitty Pryde to Japan to possibly face off against Ogun. From Logan's past. Yes. Yes. So, it's all part of the bounty that's out on Wolverine's head. And we get to find out more with the Death of Wolverine number 3 dropping this week. And if my sources are correct, it's probably going to be a few weeks into October before we get number 4.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to have been a weekly series, but they're getting it out. So
right, something's happened.
Exactly.
Also coming out from Marvel Comics, we have the Spider-Verse continuing with Edge of Spider-Verse number 4. This is part 4 of 5. This one here seems pretty creepy to me because they're taking a look at. Imagine that. This, we all know the good-mannered boy that was bitten by the radioactive spider.
Yes.
This time, they're saying maybe, what if that wasn't such a good-mannered boy, but maybe a more ill-mannered? Maybe there's some sort of monster within before the bite happened here. So we're going to look at what happens when someone who probably shouldn't gain powers because they don't know great responsibility or don't care about it do get these powers. We'll see what goes on there. Also want to make a quick note to you guys. Number 5 that comes out, I think, the following week, is a book to be on the lookout for. Go ahead and contact your retailers about that, because that will be Gerard Way writing his first comic for Marvel.
Yes.
That is his first issue. There had been some rumors that he was no longer doing this. They've confirmed and said, yes, he still is doing this. And so for fans of My Chemical Romance, whatever else there, you want to be able make sure that you pick this up, put it on your list.
Exactly. Good catch. Last up for me, Uncanny Avengers number 25. This is an Avengers and X-Men Axis tie-in issue. This is like an issue leading up to the Avengers and X-Men Axis storyline that's going to be going throughout the Marvel Universe here very shortly.
Yeah.
And things have come to a head. We've got the Red Skull and his S-Men have already started the Great Vanishing, which if you've been reading Magneto, you see what's going on there, what he's been doing. Havoc has seen the probably the greatest atrocity that the Red Skull's ever performed, and we also get to see the blood match between Magneto and the Red Skull.
Yeah,
in this issue.
Just the fact that they're saying that this alters the Marvel Universe.
I know.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but that scares me.
I totally get that, but then I'm like, everything is.
Right.
All this life changing and all this jazz, but still, this is going to be. I guess I could say that this, leading up to the Avengers X-Men Axis and all that's going on, this really seems poised to be a universe-changing storyline with all the rumors and stuff that we hear circling around it with what's going on in various properties. So, don't forget, guys, this basically is the beginning of the Avengers and Axis storyline that is going to be shipping here pretty soon.
Yeah.
What else for you, bro?
That's it for the storylines.
I'm kind of out of sorts because there's no people for me to look at, and it's like my mind is still like I keep seeing the James Brown doll over there, and he keeps looking at me real strange. But I'm with you guys. I promise. This is our first episode since the library. So I'm trying to get my groove back. But hey, speaking of groove, let's go into our question of the week.
Yeah.
What is it?
Question of the week. I've seen so many guys recently, so many comic book readers praising the works of people like Jonathan Hickman, Colin Bunn, Matt Fraction, Rick Remender, Charles Soule, all these guys. And it got me to thinking that a lot of people right now are fairly new to comics. Right. They really have not been reading comics for that long. And there are some forefathers to these particular brilliant minds out there. And, some of those forefathers are like Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, Warren Ellis. Mm-hmm. And so, just because, Alan Moore is a tedious read, Grant Morrison can be a very enigmatic, however you I can't get that word out. Read. Mm-hmm. I was going to go with Warren Ellis here and just say, guys, I want to know if you've read Warren Ellis. What are your top 3 favorite reads from Warren Ellis? So anything. It can be storylines he's done, and most of you guys probably are familiar with his Moon Knight stuff that he just finished doing here, or his Trees or Supreme Blue Rose that he's writing at the moment here.
Right.
But he is so much more than that.
Yeah, so much more than that. What do you want to start off with?
For me, number 3 is probably Next Wave, Agents of Hate. That was just a fun, messed up series. Captain Bleep 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 Bleep, whatever his name was supposed to be, the X-51 Machine Man with the fleshy humans, and yes. I'll have to get the image to Brad to put up here. Somebody at one of the recent cosplay events, I think at Dragon Con, just recreated one of the best covers. It's where they're holding up the Mark Miller licks donkey whatever or goat balls or something, and it's like it's a cover to one of the issues there, and they recreated this, sign each one of the characters. Brilliant.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, I'll get that to you guys so that you can post that up here for everybody to see, because that was just one of the best cosplays I've ever seen. So I've got that. Global Frequency. just blew my mind. And this is one-shots, 12 one-shots that just were all over the place. They were interconnected a little bit by one character, but they were just, he told different style stories with each one of these one-shots. And they were just cool.
Right.
Really cool to look at. And finally, for me, you can't have Warren Ellis. You cannot have so many of these comics that are coming out right now without Planetary. Because Planetary was just changing, altered so much with these wild concepts that this guy came up with. So, those are my three.
Hey, one of the most fantastic elements of Global Frequency for me was that each issue was a different artist.
Different artist, yeah.
Oh, and he wrote so specifically for them. It was just fantastic. And you can get that in a collected edition.
And I will do an honorable mention here because most people probably have not read this. Switchblade Honey was such a cool... This was an original graphic novel from AIT Planet Lair. This was one of those where he apparently was watching an old episode of Star Trek Voyager and he hated Kate Mulgrew or whatever her name was. And
that's right.
And he was like, what if Ray Winston was the person or the captain? And so he has like this foul-mouthed, chain-smoking, hard liquor drinking captain, and the ensign on the ship can only fly the ship if he's strung out on heroin. And it was just crazy, but I loved it.
I do remember that. For me, I'm not gonna, because I love several of the things that you chose. I'm gonna try to choose some different things.
Okay, because there's so many good things.
There are so many good, but honestly, I love Planetary. I love Planetary so much. I've got the full-size omnibus edition with everything. So I cannot push that aside. That is just fantastic. It is. If you've never read Planetary, think of an adult, mature version of the Fantastic Four. Basically, I mean,
wreaking havoc on everything. But it takes a look at so many of like the pulp characters, noir, everything.
It makes it sci-fi. I mean, it mixes everything. It mixes everything. For me though. Next up for me would be you don't have so many aspects of your current modern day superhero teams without what Warren Ellis did, starting with Stormwatch, bridging and transforming into the Authority.
Right.
And those first 12 issues easily of the Authority, the first volume with Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, are groundbreaking issues.
And good luck getting your hands on the last couple of issues of Stormwatch that he did, because they used the aliens in that's now not like something they can reprint, or there's something there with it.
Right. So I mean, I think I actually started with Authority.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what? These, because a lot of those characters, if I'm not mistaken, all of those characters were introduced in Stormwatch.
Yeah, they were all part of Stormwatch.
And then I went back and got those issues, and then caught up. So that's another one. The Authority. Other creators, top name creators that you're familiar with, came on board later on, but Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch were the ones that kicked it off and made it happen.
And brought to us the decompressed storytelling.
Exactly. And I think the next one for me would be kind of a tie. I'm just going to be honest with you, a tie with something current and something old.
Okay.
I really loved what he did with Moon Knight. That kind of took me back to the Global Frequency days a little bit. Because of course he worked with the same artist for all that, but just the different stories each issue with the connection of Moon Knight throughout all of that. But I also really enjoyed Fell back in the day with Ben Temple-Smith.
The sad thing about Fell, guys, if you're not familiar with this, is that this was such a brilliant book, and he was putting it out at $1.99 cover cost, and he wanted to bring a cheap, good story to you. And then something happened with his computer. It crashed or something, and he lost scripts, and he just never had the heart, the gumption or something to get back into it. So that's that was one of those where the story just ended and it never ended.
And it was $1.99 for 16 pages.
Yeah,
because that was kind of how the format had to work in order to get it in your hand for that price. But there was so much that went on in 16 pages. It was fantastic. And knowing Warren Ellis. Because he used to keep a regular blog and a forum and everything. He did a bunch of his writing at a bar.
Yeah.
So he probably spilled a beer all over his MacBook or something, and we lost everything.
Yeah.
But those are my three.
Yeah. I'm glad you said fell. There's two-step that's out there. There's down. There's Tokyo Storm Warning. There's red. There's
red.
So many good things out there.
Red. Oh yeah. I mean, I love, man, just the.
And red is totally different than what you see in the movie. Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. It's like watching Wanted and reading Wanted.
Yes,
Two different
exactly.
stories.
Yes, exactly. If you haven't checked out any of these, you should check out the original versions. So yes.
And let me just say, Warren Ellis, I will admit there are times where it seems like he just, he's getting the paycheck, so he kind of phones it in with some stories. But we both love Warren Ellis books, but there are so many number ones to talk about this week that we're just going to dive into this, and I'm going to take the reins because I have a special number one this week, guys, that's not actually a number one, but it might as well be. It's Captain America number 25. Why is this number one? This is where we all witness the birth of Sam Wilson becoming the all-new Captain America. This is one where the number one that you pick up next month will be the first number one, but it will not be the first book that starts his journey as Captain America here. So that's going to happen in this. You're also going to find out what the fate of Jet Black is, and you're going to see the conclusion of this storyline that's been going on the whole time, talking about Dimension Z, and I guess you're going to get kind of a happy ending there for Steve Rogers because now Sharon Carter's old, and their son Ian has been raised by both of them in the Dimension, and so they're going to be a happily ever after family. We'll see if that happens.
I didn't know all that had happened.
Yeah, they found out that she was there, and he's like, Mom, she raised me after you left.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we had that.
All right.
Anyways,
he said where?
but yeah, this is going to be huge with this Captain America, guys.
Get it.
We're getting tons of it, and I expect this to be gone very quickly.
Exactly. Moving on, we apologize for not covering this beforehand, but Thor, as you know him, is going to be gone. And this week we get the new Thor. That is right, Thor Odinson is no longer worthy of Mjolnir, and the hammer is going to someone else. The hammer is going to the new Thor. Who is she? Where does she come from? What is going on with that? What is her connection between the Marvel Universe and Asgard? And from this point forward, folks, we have a new female Thor.
Yes.
But it's Thor. So
it's just Thor.
I have no idea who this is.
Get your panties out of, whatever.
Yeah. This is Thor.
It's Thor.
It's the mantle of Thor.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is Valkyrie. I don't know if we're going old school, like Don Blake style, where it's a stick or something, and she's somebody else completely different, but then she transforms her. So,
and the reason why I apologize is because we forgot to tell you guys, and hopefully your Thor God of Thunder number 25 still may be out there on the shelf, and you can pick it up because her first appearance was there in that book.
Yeah, not identifying who she is exactly, but
just
then
the
a
first
glimpse.
appearance
A
of her.
glimpse.
Yeah.
So Thor number 1, check it out.
There's a whole lot coming out from Marvel this week, but I'm going to jump over to DC real quickly. I'm going to tell you guys about Gotham Academy number 1. This right here is going to be a very different book from Becky Cloonan. She is not drawing it. She is writing it with Brendan Fletcher, and Carl Kerschel is going to be the one that is drawing this book. What you have here, Gotham Academy, is Gotham's most prestigious prep school. It just happens to be that one of their founders or one of their benefactors or something is a guy named Bruce Wayne. Kind of an oddball cat there for them. But you're going to discover exactly who Olivia Silverlock is and just how bizarre herself and her life is, and the many lives of a lot of the other students there within the school. So this is not something that, on the outside it looks like a prestigious school. On the inside, there's a whole lot more that's going on, and you're going to see a fusion between these new characters and some old-time characters within this new series.
Very cool. Also, if you wanted more Winter Soldier, that happens this week. Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier number 1, hits the shelf this week by Alish Kott, Marco Rudy. And for those of you that read the original Sin storyline and read and found out that Nick Fury had another job that he's been doing all these years, it looks like Bucky Barnes is supposed to be the one to pick up that mantle and complete the work, continue the work that Nick Fury was doing that none of the Marvel Universe was aware of. So, if you're wanting to get on board an action adventure series, because you're a fan of the Winter Soldier, don't miss this issue.
We've got the original Guardians back. In Guardians 3000 #1, this is written by Dan Abnett, who brought you all the goodness of the Guardians characters you know and love now from the movie. And with this one, we're talking about Vance Astro, Yondu, Martinez, Starhawk, and Charlie 27. They are having to form together to fight whatever evils they may, and in the process of doing so, they're going to discover a threat that is going to that could possibly destroy the future. So this, as they discover this, or we're going to, find out the question, are they going to be able to even survive their first issue? I've seen solicitations for issue number 2, so I'm going to bet that most, if not all, do. But still, I'm so excited that this book is here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. From Marvel's Icon imprint, Men of Wrath #1. This is Jason Aaron and Ron Garney teaming up again to do a creator-owned series through the Icon imprint at Marvel. This takes a look at the Wrath family, the legacy that their great-great-grandfather gave to them years ago when he killed a man over some sheep. And now we take a look at modern-day, if I'm not mistaken, it's modern-day Alabama with his grandson, Ira Wrath, who's the coldest hitman on Alabama soil. And he looks like he's going to take on a job that's going to define the fate of his family curse once and for all. And if you've seen, these guys have teamed up before on Thor, on Wolverine. They did Ultimate Captain America. A fantastic team of creators doing this series, and I'm looking forward to it because Southern Bastards is awesome, and I'm thinking it's probably going to have a similar, somewhat gritty tone. So check it out.
Yeah. Jason Aaron's not, repeating himself with anything there. No. We've also got coming out from DC Comics this week, Flash Season 0 #1. This right here is to get you excited for the TV series that is going to be on CW. Yep. So anybody that's I've heard tons of people in the shop here who are looking forward to it. This will going to be one of those you want to pick up where you'll see this takes place within the television universe, not the actual DC New 52 universe. And we have Barry Allen, who is juggling his life as a CSI investigator, which is technically repeating myself. Crime scene investigator. He that's his job. He is CSI, and he has this love for Iris West. It doesn't seem to be returned to him, and he just, if all that's not enough, happens to have newfound powers, and it finds himself being the protector of what Coastal City is. That his city? Whatever his city is, but his city.
I forgot. If you wouldn't have said anything,
I think it's Coastal City.
I think you
that's
guys
right.
let us know. I'm sure. So,
yeah.
Also from DC, any Lobo fans out there?
Be warned, it's not the old Lobo.
It's not the old Lobo. It's the new Lobo, #1, hitting the shelf this week by Cullen Bunn and Riley Brown. And this is the, what were they calling it? The Lobo? The Twilight Lobo.
I was just Emo Lobo, but
Emo Lobo. There we go. But not much. Honestly, this is his new ongoing series, and they kind of give us a Kieran Gillen solicit for this issue. If the first few blood-soaked pages of this issue don't shock you, nothing will.
That's a terrible comparison, because that's nowhere near like what Kieran Gillen gives us with something that
was back.
It's they're supposed to entice you with that, and hopefully that does entice you. And if you like ultraviolence, that book's going to give you some ultraviolence.
There'll be blood and ultraviolence. So there you go.
That's not Kieran Gillen level. Come on,
come on.
It's witty.
That's like weak sauce in comparison. All right, that's it for me for the #1.
That's going to Buffalo Wild Wings and getting like the lowest level of the hot sauce, and Kieran Gillen's like that spicy one that just gets you sweating through your shirt. I
thought you were going to say getting ketchup.
Or ketchup, yeah, I'm calling it, this is my sauce I'm dipping here.
Exactly. Guys, that's the new number 1. So be sure and tell us which ones you're looking forward to getting. Tell us which ones that you do get, because we want to talk to you about that. And on to the next segment of our show, our favorites, folks. You know, this is our favorites, the stuff that we look forward to the most. Every week, every time they come out and hit the shelves. But there will be spoilers ahead, because we're going to tell you about our favorites from last week. Randy, what is your favorite from last week?
I read and read and read, and I looked for something to beat this book, and I could not find it. Did you find anything to beat it?
No, I didn't.
No. Saga number 23 was just an amazing book, and I'm glad it looked like they were pushing it into a very predictable ending, and it totally went somewhere else completely, and I was very happy for what they did there. For those of you who did read it, you know, getting to see these characters, they're split, but it's not for reasons that you think that they should be split. And so what goes on next, what happens next, I don't know, but just Prince Robot walking out there, last page. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. 2 men that have now both lost their children.
Exactly. Very good. Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. So much of the issue was just great to me. The whole anger of the fight that they have, and then just moments later realizing that despite all that, you need that person back. You did something. You messed up.
Right.
Despite all that, and then Marco going to that home that he went to, and I was just like, come on, please don't do this.
Right. And you thought, okay, it's leading. Thank you. It's not.
Yes, exactly. I appreciate that was really good. It was, and then the comeback of the one character that I thought was gone. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. Well, I like the lady that passes out the drugs there at the shows. I liked her admittance to Delvo. Is that his name, Delvo?
The janitor guy?
Yeah, the janitor.
I think so.
That she's doing all this because she's too weak-willed and she's too afraid to feel pain or to die or something. And I thought that was a very powerful little moment right there.
Total character moment.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, no, I did not find anything to beat that issue.
The Massive was very good, guys. Very good. But this just worked very well, and it did not leave me heartbroken over what I thought was going to happen. It left me eager to pick up the next issue.
Exactly. And is this it? We're going to have a break?
Yeah, we're at a break.
I'm both excited and scared, because it's not. I'm not saying that the way it ended is a cliche, but it kind of is. The whole separation angle of it all is. So I'm hoping that, I don't know, I guess part of me wants to see what's explored, but then another part of me doesn't want to last too long.
Right.
So there we go. Great read, guys. We should have a trade paperback for you just in a couple of weeks. Then you can get all 4 trades and be caught up, and then get on board with the next issue that'll come out in a couple of months.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to say that Rosh Limit, however you want to say it, was a good read. I've pushed some comics before that I thought fell kind of flat, that the writing was not that strong on them, right. And I really like the writing on this. There are some cliche moments throughout, some of the writing of it, but it was a very strongly written book, and I'm looking forward to a second issue on that one.
You got to check out Wayward #2 as well.
Yeah, Wayward #2. That was not. They have some very interesting stuff going on there, but this issue was just like a whole lot of fast forward to get to this point. So I was a little, that was disruptive there, because I thought they had this good pacing going, and then just like fast forward through this, and good, but I almost feel like it was like rushing to get to this point.
Right. So. Guys, now we're going to dive into our favorites that are hitting this week.
Yeah.
What's your first up?
The first up for me is the Fade Out #2,
I knew
hitting the shelves. This, we're going to, we have the question there. Was it murder or was it suicide?
Right.
Charlie Parrish he's not even sure.
Right.
But the thing he does know is he really doesn't know who he can trust at all here. 1930s or 40s Hollywood is not a really good place to live in, it seems. And we're going to find out exactly how a studio can keep going with its movie when its starlet is deceased.
Exactly.
There. But first issue of this was phenomenal, and we still have people coming in and begging us to get the second print on this because the first print's gone, but they just want to read this. So they're smart that they want to read this. They were not smart because they did not pre-order this.
Sorry, guys. Up for me, we talked about Warren Ellis earlier. We talked about Moon Knight. Ellis is off of that, but now we have Brian Wood and Greg Smallwood on Moon Knight. Moon Knight number 8 hitting the shelf this week. They took over with number 7. I was pleasantly impressed and surprised with that issue, and looking forward to more of Moon Knight stories from them. And this issue, we're looking at a hostage situation on a high-rise building that involves Moon Knight. And Moon Knight does not realize that he lives in a cell phone camera world, right, and that the world is his stage.
That's right.
So I'm really wanting to see what he does with that stage.
But of course, Moon Knight is the guy that said, when asked, why do you wear white, that he wants them to see him coming. So he's not the guy that's trying to hide in the shadows.
Right.
So he's going to have everybody taking a look at him, apparently.
A little song and dance going on.
That's right. Next for me is Wonder Woman number 34. I guess it's been pushed back a little bit because 35s are coming out this month for DC Comics. Hopefully Wonder Woman 35 will also make it this month. What we see here is that if Wonder Woman has any hope of defeating the Firstborn, she is going to have to make a decision here, and it's a decision that is most likely going to affect the lives of the ones that she loves the most. And if you read the solicitations for this online, I want to slap the editor at DC Comics because, or at Diamond, whoever it is, affect, not effect. Effect, no.
Oh, you almost got a lesson.
No, I'm just going to stop on that. It will affect their loved ones.
Exactly. Moving on for me, names number 2. This was Peter Milligan, Leandro Fernandez. This storyline of a lady who loses her husband in a very mysterious fashion, and she wants to get to the bottom of it. And that we're talking about Katya Walker. Katya. But
why she's a black woman that has a Russian woman's name. That was really bizarre to me. But anyway.
So, I don't know. But we get to take a look in this issue of one of the more mysterious characters that we were introduced from the first issue called The Surgeon. And we get to see Miss Walker on her journey to find out who's responsible and why they killed or made her husband kill himself from the first issue. So I'm really looking forward to this. I want to find out more about the story.
Right, and finding out about the dark loops.
I know. I didn't know what those were.
I didn't say it says more about. I don't recall them.
I didn't recall them in the first issue.
So we're going to figure out what they are.
Yeah. So there we go.
We'll see. Last up for me is Rat Queens number 8. We had just asked what was going on with this book. Where is this? Maybe that was off screen, but you would pose that question. Where is this book? Well, apparently here it is, and I don't think this is still the first or the last issue in this storyline. I think this is part 3, and this storyline has a tagline that runs much closer to what Kieran Gillen does, where if your enemy is too strong, join them. Yep. Then, after you've gained their trust, that's when you kill them.
That's when you do it. Okay,
that's
I was confused.
The Rat Queen style.
Total Rat Queens for you. Last up for me, folks, Nailbiter number 6. Yeah. I love this cover. It's got a little baby with a face mask on, like a Hannibal Lecter. Mask. Yeah, it's like gives you this whole idea, and all it says is it's a serial killer. Like they're born that way there in this particular town. So we'll get to explore more of that and just how different this particular town is that this whole cast is in.
Weird random note here. We're finishing up with our number 1, so this is just something, or our favorites. This is just something I'm throwing out here. Did you see, and I didn't realize, it had been 10 years since your buddy, who is the artist? Louis LaRosa has drawn a comic. I didn't realize it's been 10 years. But he is doing some Valiant work.
Yeah, he's doing a ton of Valiant work. That looks
beautiful.
You saw that, yeah?
Yeah, I saw that. So congratulations, Louis, on making your return here to comics in a grand way.
Oh, man, those pages are phenomenal, man. They start. He's done. See, that's not. I mean, what they're doing with. I think that may be his first full issue.
Right.
He's done some 6 or 8 pages for various things and covers. But man, that is just.
Well, see, that I think was just a few pages that they were showing with that, because they said there were other artists that were on that issue as well. Yeah. So that was really cool.
It's just awesome looking stuff.
Yeah, and I just say his buddy because you talked with him, or somehow you knew him through.
We met years ago online. Yeah.
So, and the other thing, when you guys watch our video, just know that when I'm talking about Transmetropolitan, another great Warren Ellis read, I said yellow journalism, I meant gonzo journalism. Two totally different things, very different things. Gonzo journalism is in the way of Hunter S. Thompson. That's what Warren Ellis was going with his book.
That's what you said at the library event.
I said yellow. So if you watch that online, when it gets on there, don't hold that against me. I'm correcting it beforehand.
That's it. That's his correction right there. Folks, thanks for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Tell us below your 3 favorite Warren Ellis books, storylines in the comments below. Also, tell us what you're most looking forward to that's hitting the shelf this week. A lot of great stuff. All the new number 1s, the storylines, and even if you have some of the same favorites that we do, because we're looking forward to this new week of new comics. Anything else to add, sir?
That sounds good. Be prepared in the month of October for some spooky questions of the week.
Spooky questions. That's spooky. Have some fun with that. Guys, that's it. Until next time, be safe. Take care. Read great comics. And we will see you in our next video. Bye-bye.